The Muslim civilization protected the Jewish people for over 1,000 years. This is why Zionists cannot make stories up and start claiming that the Jewish people were in danger. They were being brutalized around the world. Therefore, we came and we drove out the Palestinians from their homes. We occupied their land forcefully and started killing their women and children and men and elderly. And because we were being oppressed, we were being driven out from everywhere, we're going to do the same to another people. We're going to go and take all that land. Okay, this logic is the Zionist logic. That's why it's evil. That's why it cannot be supported and celebrated. This is why I equate this ideology with ISIS. They are very similar. Zionists and ISIS are very similar. The only difference is the Zionists are very organized. They have a state. They have Western backing. They have very powerful weapons. ISIS doesn't have that. So Joseph has become my fan officially because he is standing behind the camera and filming me repeatedly. Okay, so I wonder what you think. So I would like to discuss, Joseph. You need to have a cameraman.
I do know, but unfortunately, I don't get paid for any of this, and so if someone wants to volunteer, there's dozens and dozens of Dawah.
I've never been paid for this.
No, but you come on. Some
I
of the
need to start asking these guys
well
to share some of the blessings.
Look, if any of the Dawah guys want to volunteer for the Zionists, we're more than happy to have you as our cameraman.
They won't do that. They won't do that. It's like asking them to volunteer for ISIS. No, they wouldn't do that.
I mean, some of them from the park did, but we won't go there.
From the park?
Yeah, there was one of your cameramen was arrested in jail for having an ISIS website.
No, okay, yeah. Well, and what happened? What did he say about that?
Distance yourself.
What? No. If an ISIS guy walks through the park, is that our fault?
No, he's your cameraman.
If an ISIS guy is peeing there
Adnan,
under a tree.
You're cameraman, and yet you.
No.
I agree. With what
you're filming. Oh, wait. You're a Zionist. Wait. You're a Zionist. To me, you're as good as ISIS. I mean, wait, sorry, I'm being blunt. And you're filming me right now. Are you my cameraman now? Are you my cameraman? No. So think before you talk. Think before you talk. Joseph, you,
the overwhelming majority,
a Zionist.
I'm just going to have to do it with bad audio, but it's going to mic.
No, you have a...
No, I'm going to put these a bit lower down, it's just we're maxing out.
Okay, so you are as good as an ISIS fighter to me. You are a Zionist, self-confessed, open, public Zionist you are, right? So to me, you are as good as ISIS. You're filming me right now. Are you my cameraman now? No. There are so many people here. I mean, I don't know. Hundreds of people have been filming us in the park. So this one guy turns out to be dodgy. They start making him our cameraman. This is what these people do. So Joseph, can you come back and respond to that?
Just trying to get my audio.
Leave it. We will give you a copy from this. Come. Leave it. So now, tell me, do you become my cameraman? Technically, he's my cameraman at the moment. He's filming me right now. He's working so hard. He obviously loves me so much that he really wants to fix this. You know, it's catching my voice. I can see it there. Yeah, it's catching my voice. Leave it, man. So if any extremist sneezes anywhere in the world, it's not my problem, right? But you are a Zionist. Anything the Zionist state does, you can argue for it, right? Joseph, you can talk from there.
I'm going to talk. We'll talk about that.
Okay. So it's very easy to throw stones at people when you live in glass houses. Don't do that. Yeah? While Joseph is busy doing that, we've had many conversations in the past, myself and Joseph. We have a very cordial kind of relationship, even though we are far apart ideologically from each other. We are two different, I would say, on the side of, two different sides of the fence. Okay, I'm on the side of Islam, the Muslim civilization, the greater Muslim civilization, and I talk about the Muslim civilization and its impact on the world. Muslims, when they came to power in the 7th century, when they brought Islam as a political force into the world, they brought with them a civilization called the Muslim civilization. And people flourished under Islam. Most importantly, the Jewish people, right? And Zionist propagandists like Joseph, they argue that the Zionist state of Israel is a good thing, okay? And when we challenge him on the atrocities they are committing for the last 70 years, they have been committing a lot of atrocities, he somehow attempts to defend those atrocities. Firstly, the theft of the land, okay? Then forced migration or forced exile of the Palestinians. Then the brutality that still continues. Last week, how many people were killed? Last week, innocent people. And if a Muslim terrorist did that, the same media around the world would be going crazy. You know, they would be going crazy. And what does Israel say? Collateral damage. These innocent people who died, women and children in a bombing raid, collateral damage. Collateral damage, okay? So, if the Muslims were doing this, then people like Joseph, they would be running a marathon up and down the park. He would go there, he would come back, and then he'd go back. Now he's fixed it. Oh, good. Now we got it. Okay. So now, yeah, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Yeah, we can see it.
That's whether it's coming into the camera. Yes.
Okay, off we go.
Okay.
Off we go. Being filmed by a Zionist cameraman.
Okay, and several. So, let's bring it back to principles. We both know what a Zionist is, but for the audience that don't know, a Zionist is simply anybody that supports the existence of the state of Israel as a Jewish state. So you have Muslim states around the world, you have Christian states around the world. Israel's the Jewish one. If you support the Palestinians and you support an Israeli state and you support a two-state solution, so Palestine and an Israel, then you're a Zionist. The overwhelming majority of British Jews, 82% of them, and the overwhelming majority of Jews in the world are by definition a Zionist. 82% of British Jews see Israel is central to their identity. So when Adnan compares Zionists to ISIS, he's saying anybody that supports that Jewish state is the equivalent to a barbarian that beheads people of a different faith, who enslaves Yazidi girls, who murders and rampages and causes hell on earth.
Absolutely.
He's comparing all of those
I'm
people.
standing by what I said.
In Israel as well.
And this is...
You know, Baha'is are in there and they live fine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Arabs, they're literally Muslim party in the Israeli government. There are Arabs that have sent Jewish prime ministers and Jewish presidents to jail. And this clown wants to compare that to ISIS?
Hitler had Jewish collaborators. Hitler had Jewish collaborators. Now, just because Hitler...
he's calling his fellow Muslims collaborators.
Yes. Yeah. Anyone working with the state of Israel to suppress, oppress, and abuse Palestinians is a collaborator. Can I put it in any simpler words? Can I? This is the simplest language I can use, right? So, coming back to the issue of Zionism, okay? It doesn't matter how many people agree with it. It makes no difference. Germany under Hitler was a Nazi Germany. The majority of Germans were with Hitler. Hitler was the most popular leader. How did he become the most popular leader? Through propaganda, through his charisma, through his practice of speeches. You know, Hitler actually would go and practice speeches. He would practice oratory. I believe Hitler, as evil, as barbaric, as whatever as he was one of the best orators of the 20th century. Okay, his oratory was very powerful. His public speaking skills were very powerful. He used them for evil ends. He used them to massacre innocent Jewish people. Okay, now, just because Germans had become Nazis predominantly, do we now say all the Germans are following Hitler, so therefore there is something to accept? Nazism becomes acceptable just because 80–90% of the Germans were behind Hitler? Firstly, I don't accept what Joseph says that most British Jews are Zionists. I don't accept that. I don't accept that, right? But even if that was the case, let's say 80% of the Jewish people living in Britain were Zionists. Does that render Zionism valid? Does that make Zionism a good force in the world? Does that make Zionism an acceptable ideology? Absolutely not. So don't play this numbers game with us. Let's get to the crux of it. What is Zionism? It came about in the late 19th century. A bunch of secular Jewish journalists and intellectuals and tycoons and bankers, they came together and they came up with this ideology. The Jewish rabbis had nothing to do with it, to my knowledge. They had nothing to do with it, okay? To this day, many Jewish Orthodox groups are against Zionism, openly, publicly, right? So when you try to play this game, equate Zionism with anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, if that's the game you're trying to play, don't try.
Adnan,
it's not going to work.
Stop putting words in my mouth.
Just like we can't.
Did I ever once, in anything I just say, talk about anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism?
You have accused me of anti-Semitism.
But when you were anti-Semitic?
Yeah. No, when?
Let's just deal, Adnan.
Let's go back to that question if you want.
Adnan, let's stick on topic. Instead of what always happens, you leapfrog all over the place like Skippy the kangaroo. Let's stay on subject. The subject at the moment is ISIS and Zionism.
Yeah.
So let's list the atrocities. And
Good.
interestingly,
let's do it.
As an example of one of the most barbaric examples of an ideology, he goes to an Islamic ideology. That's interesting that you chose.
It's not an Islamic ideology.
They literally base their, you may be through a false interpretation.
So do the Zionists.
But it's on.
So do the Zionists.
You literally said
they call it the Jewish.
Secular.
They call it a Jewish state.
Okay.
They call it. They call it.
I didn't interrupt you.
Yeah.
And you spoke for about.
Sorry, we're going to keep it civil. We're going to keep it civil. Yes. Good. We're going to have a conversation.
Anybody who's ever met a Jew outside of Speaker's Corner will understand that the likelihood is that they have some form of connection to Israel, whether they have family there, whether it's a religious reason.
Like many Muslims have connection with Iraq and Syria.
Adnan, can you keep quiet for 2 seconds?
Yeah.
I stood politely and listened to you insult me throughout your diatribe.
I apologize.
Please, extend.
Let's keep it short, both sides. Keep it
short. You just spoke for 15 minutes, mate.
No, I didn't speak for 15 minutes.
I mean,
people will time it. People will time it. People will time it, and then they'll come back to you. I didn't speak for 15 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. But continue. You finish your point, and I'm going to come back, and we will go like that.
We're going to go through a few examples of why Jews are Zionists. The overwhelming majority of religious Jews support the existence of Israel today. In the UK, you have small groups like Mature Carter. There's like 8 families in the UK. Satmar in America, slightly larger Hasidic sect. But most Orthodox Jews support Israel. Most religious Jews support Israel. And the reason they do that, many support Israel, many support two-state solution of areas. But can I just, sorry,
let him continue.
Let me speak.
Joseph will expose his own inconsistencies.
When the Jew talks, they try to silence him.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
When the Muslim brother speaks, no one interrupts. Did anyone interrupt you from the audience?
No.
Because did people interrupt me? Did people interrupt me? Yes. So, audience,
continue.
I don't interrupt him, you don't interrupt him. Give me the same courtesy. So Jews pray 3 times a day to return and rebuild Jerusalem. The end of Jewish festivals, we'll say next year in Jerusalem. When we eat bread, we pray about Israel. Like literally, the entire Jewish religion revolves around Jews being in Israel.
Okay.
So, the main reason that Jews support the existence of Israel today will either be religious or secular. As Adnan mentioned, many of the founding Zionists... gosh, this is impossible.
Continue, Joseph, continue. No, please don't interrupt him. Don't interrupt. Let him. I mean, listen, we don't want Joseph to stop. I want him to speak. I can respond to him. Wait, I have plenty of arguments to respond. No problem. Continue, Joseph. Joseph, talking to me, please.
Okay, so Jews suffered in almost every nation we lived in.
Okay, okay. You're opening a new topic now. Let's stick to Zionism.
I'm literally giving the reason why Jews around the world support
Okay,
Israel.
can I respond to what you said already? Very quickly. Okay.
I don't, to be honest,
Just finish this point and then you.
I'm
Yeah, go ahead.
Very, very
go ahead.
difficult with-
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Your co-religionist heckling me.
Yeah, no problem. Go. Don't heckle him, please. Don't let Joseph say that we're not going to let him speak. We will let him speak.
Okay, thank you.
Inshallah.
By the way, he's not Jewish. He's a Zionist.
Continue, Joseph. Why? I mean, this is the park. People are going
Why
to...
you finding him like an excuse? Continue, man.
Okay. So, the only place that Jews have any claim to on this earth is Israel. We have no claim to Uganda. We have no claim to New York. We have no claim to London. We became a nation in Israel. We existed as a state for almost 1,500 years. We are indigenous to that land. Now, most Jews believe because of the persecution that we face, we can no longer live outside of Israel. We need a place of refuge.
Okay.
There were many Muslims who saved us. There were many Christians who saved us throughout history. But we cannot depend on others to come to our rescue. We need to be able to defend ourselves.
Okay.
And for that reason, Jews need a state. And the only place on this earth we have a claim to a state is Israel. Now that should not come at the expense of any other people.
Okay. Can I respond?
Please.
We have no problem with the Jewish people living in security. Under security. I mean, when I say insecurity, it sounds like insecurity, right? So under security. We want the Jewish people to be secure. We, when I say we, I talk for the Muslim civilization, okay? You can call me a self-appointed spokesperson, no problem. I have no problem with that. But I will try to give you the evidence why I believe so. The Muslim civilization protected the Jewish people for over 1,000 years. This is why Zionists cannot make stories up and start claiming that the Jewish people were in danger. They were being brutalized around the world. Therefore, we came and we drove out the Palestinians from their homes. We occupied their land forcefully and started killing their women and children and men and elderly. And because we were being oppressed, we were being driven out from everywhere, we're going to do the same to another people. We're going to go and take all that land. Okay, this logic is the Zionist logic. That's why it's evil. That's why it cannot be supported and celebrated. This is why I equate this ideology with ISIS. They are very similar. Zionists and ISIS are very similar. The only difference is the Zionists are very organized. They have a state. They have Western backing. They have very powerful weapons. ISIS doesn't have that. ISIS doesn't have that, right? ISIS doesn't have the channels. ISIS doesn't have the, wait. No, you're doing the same thing the guy was doing, yeah? Okay. So, let me clarify. We, as Muslims or the Muslim civilization, never had a problem with the Jewish people. As a whole, as a community, as an entity. For over 1,000 years, the Jewish people lived in Muslim lands. In fact, some Jewish scholars, like Jacob Lesner, they believe and claim that the majority of the Jewish people were living within the domain of Islam for over 1,000 years. Why? Why? Why is the question? Because they were protected. They were celebrated. They became very prosperous. They worked on their religion. They were conducting business. They were physicians, scientists, philosophers, poets. And they were the top brass of the Muslim community. In fact, some of them were prime ministers to Muslim sultans. One of them was in Spain, Hazda ibn Shaprut, albeit an exception, no doubt, an exception. But we had examples like that. So when we had Jewish people living with us, what changed in the 1940s all of a sudden? What changed? Why did all the Jewish people started to leave from Morocco to Yemen and they started to quickly rush to Israel? Why? Because of what the Zionist movement was doing in the land of Palestine. You see, ISIS, when they started to do atrocities around the world, what happened to the Muslim community around the world? Muslim community became very agitated. We had to come out and explain that these guys, they have nothing to do with us. They don't represent us. We have a civilization to talk about. We have scientists, philosophers, poets, scholars. People have forgotten them, right? So we had to come out and clarify our position because this ideology called ISIS was committing atrocities. Just like that, the Jewish people became very agitated. They had a very peaceful situation in the Muslim lands. Suddenly, an extremist group, an atheistic, secular extremist group called the Zionists, come to power in Palestine, and they start committing atrocities. They start killing Palestinians, and then the Muslim masses become very agitated too. So the Jewish people, fearing for their lives, for the first time in the last 1,300 years, for the first time, mass migration of the Jewish people to the land of Palestine. Now show me an example of, how do I prove my case? I will ask Joseph, show me an example of Jewish mass migration. Listen to my question carefully. Is everyone listening to me? Is everyone listening to me? Yes. My question is very specific. Show me an example of a mass migration of the Jewish people from one land to another land due to Muslim persecution. One example in the last 1,300 years. It only happened in the 1940s. And who did it? The Zionists, not the Muslims. Over to you.
Okay, so that was a long time. Nobody interrupted him. Nobody heckled him. Hopefully the crowd will give me the same courtesy. I want one person heckled, sorry. So you went through a few points. I captured them just because my memory isn't what it used to be. So the first thing I'm going to address is the very first thing he brought up, which is that Adnan wants Jews to live under Islam and be protected by Islam. You literally on camera, this is what you said. You want Jews to live under us in security, were the words you used.
You want me to respond?
No, you can respond when it's your turn.
Okay. But that's not true. I didn't say that.
Okay.
Well, you're making... Did I say that? Okay. Everyone's saying I didn't say that.
Okay. You said explicitly on camera, and we can go back, that Islam protected Jews and offered the Jews...
That doesn't mean that I want the Jewish people to live under Islam and being protected by Islam.
Okay, Adnan, again, I didn't interrupt you.
Yeah.
So, and you said almost everything that left your mouth I disagreed with, and I bit my tongue.
No, but don't misquote me in front of me. Have some courtesy.
We can go back and people can watch what was said at the beginning. Maybe I'm slightly mixing up the words you said, but the basic essence was Islam, while the Jews were under Islam, were protected. And he wants Jews to go on being protected by Islam, was the basic essence. And from a Jewish perspective, we're like, no thanks, mate. We've had your protection before. Sometimes it was good. Other times you put us to the sword. Other times you ethnically cleansed us. And I'll give some examples of mass migration, or what we would call ethnic cleansing. So either where we were forced out or we fled. I'll give examples of both.
Okay.
So
mass migration, you said you're going to give me examples of.
Adnan.
Mass migration,
Adnan, hold your tongue. You'll get a turn to speak. You spoke for a long time. I know you like the sound of your voice, but please let me speak. So, Islamic and Jewish history is one of good caliph protected the Jews, bad caliph persecuted the Jews. The first people to make Jews wear yellow clothing, to single them out, to persecute them, was actually the Abbasids. The Abbasids persecuted Jews.
Continue, I'm not going to...
The Almohads persecuted Jews. Hundreds of thousands of Jews fled Al-Andalus when the Almohads, and North Africa, when the Almohads seized power. And the Jews fled. In Yemen, you had examples. In Iraq, you had examples. Umar himself ethnically cleansed the Jews of the Hijaz. So Islamic history is one of both good and bad relations with the Jews. Now, for the Jewish people, we appreciated when there was a Christian king like Kashmir in Poland, or a Muslim ruler like the numerous Islamic rulers that protected the Jews. We are grateful for that. But what we don't want is to be dependent on the whims of whichever caliph is ruling over the caliphate at that time, because some of them persecuted us excessively. And so, for the first time in history, Jews have a safe haven where we're not first time in history. For the first time in 2,000 years, we have the opportunity to protect ourselves. So historically, if we were persecuted by Muslims, we'd have to either flee to Muslim or Christian countries. Today, we can flee to the Jewish country. And I have complete faith that my brothers in Israel are more likely to protect me than Adnan's brothers in whichever Muslim state we're talking about.
Okay.
And so,
yeah.
and so,
Under Israel, the eyes are protected.
and so, yeah, donkey, yeah, hammer.
No. I'm about to speak. I'm about to speak.
Why you asking?
Yeah.
You stop it.
Okay, I'm about to speak.
This liar.
Okay, he's finished now. Can I speak?
Only la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah.
Okay, thank you. So now my response. Joseph.
What the hell? If I go there,
Please
see your
ignore.
dentist.
Please ignore. Okay. So Joseph, he made many points. What Joseph does in almost every single discussion, we call it, in debating terms, we call it machine gun tactics. Okay. What happens is you basically empty a magazine. You empty a magazine on your opponent and expect him to respond to you in 3 minutes, right, with all those bullets he has fired. That's why I'm very meticulous in debates. I like to address topics one by one, systematically. Each and every single point he raised can be shredded, dismantled, conclusively. For example, I'll give you a few examples he mentioned. Al-Mohads. Why do I believe people like Joseph are spin doctors and they are not sincere? He's disingenuous. I'm saying that to his face. I'm saying that to your face. Because he knows the response. What is the response? Al-Mohads, I will tell you, definitely persecuted Muslims, Christians, and Jews. They did not single out the Jewish people. Almohads, when they came to power in Spain in the 12th century CE, they persecuted all people in Spain. They went for everyone, right? So what happens? Jewish people, some of them, they start to leave. Now, Joseph tells you half the story, and even that half, partially, not the complete half, partial. Even that half is partial. He focuses on the Jewish people, right? Now, this is why it's so important to know your history, my brothers and sisters, right? So Almohads, they persecute almost everyone. They are an extremist group. They have been called so in our history. The Muslim historians are writing, these people had lost the plot. They had lost the plot. Just like Muslim scholars today in the world are saying ISIS have lost the plot. They don't represent us. They are your product. They are a product of your war you waged on Iraq, and they are a reaction to your. They have more in common with you, those who are fighting ISIS, than us, the Muslim community around the world, from Morocco to Bangladesh. So what happened with Almohads? They come in, they persecute some Jewish people. The Jewish people they are persecuting, they leave. He's right, they leave. Now when they leave, where do they go? Where do they go? Guess where do they go? No. Where do they go? Who knows? Morocco was...
It's a good example.
Morocco was under Almohads. They went to Egypt.
Thank you.
They went to Egypt. Now, who was ruling Egypt? Salahuddin. Thank you. Joseph, amazingly... Wait. Now, amazingly, he knows, but doesn't mention it. This is what I call CNN, Fox News, NBC put together in one man. Okay, right? So they deliberately hide this information because it's going to. So what happens to these Jewish people? One of them is their famous rabbi, Musa bin Maimonides. He's one of those Spanish Jews who found refuge in Egypt. Why didn't these Jews go to the north, to the Christian states?
Many of them did.
No, they did not. You don't know. They got banished. They got banished from the English king, Edward I, banished the entire Jewish community. So did the French king, Philip. Later on, they drove all the Jewish people. Where did they go? They went to the Muslim lands, right? Now. So what people like Joseph do, okay, and then what happens to Maimonides and people like him in Egypt? Are they given the brooms and the brushes to go and clean the streets? You bunch of barbarians, you've come from Spain. Actually, because they were so civilized and educated, and the elite of the Spanish Muslim society, the Jewish people, who were walking around in Islamic dress code with turbans, speaking eloquent Arabic, uttering Arabic poetry, the Jewish rabbis of Spain. What happens to them in Egypt? They are given high posts. In fact, Maimonides himself, who later on lied to the Yemeni Jews about his situation, okay, who himself was a liar, outright liar. Maimonides, Musa bin Maimun, was a liar. And I will show you why he was a liar, okay? There are many, that's another topic in itself.
Adnan, they can all watch the debate where I absolutely
humiliated me,
you on that part.
like you are today, no problem. Okay, so Maimonides, he went to Egypt and he becomes what? The physician of the Sultan, the brother of Salah ad-Din. He becomes his private personal physician. What kind of persecution is this? It's like some Muslims leave Iraq, okay, as refugees. They come to Britain, and then Boris Johnson takes one of them as his private physician. We haven't seen that happen to date. That hasn't happened to date. All of these Iraqis and Syrian refugees are being basically, you know how they're being treated in all these countries at the borders. What's happening to them in Italy and Greece and Poland and Hungary. Go and see these refugees, see what's happening to them. Okay, Muslims didn't do that to the Jewish people. Okay, wherever they went, right? These Zionists, they have to make up stories for a reason to substantiate the evil ideology, to argue that the Jewish people as a whole, their lives are in danger. Therefore, we need the state of Israel.
Okay.
We need to occupy this land and drive out the Palestinians, brutally kill them off, okay, kill the children and women, so that we can be protected. This is a lie. The Jewish people, and then what? Last point. So that I want to be fair. Last point, because I can go on and on and on. Joseph, he's threw so many bullets at me that I'm trying to now, deal with the fatal ones. The ones that are close to my heart. Okay, the arms, the legs, no problem. I'll just let them go. Okay, so he jumped from the Abbasids to what? What? He jumped. Yeah, he jumped from Abbasids to what? Do you remember? Are you all listening? To Almohads. Remember that? Do you remember that? He mentioned the Abbasids and he hopped few centuries forward to Almohads. My question is, why do Zionists have to do that? Why do they jump from centuries to another century? From a dynasty to another dynasty? And what do they point to? Exceptions where some Jewish people did receive maltreatment. Absolutely. I'm going to tell you where there are cases of Jewish people being maltreated due to political and other circumstances, right? Something happened. But the general pattern of the Muslim civilization towards the Jewish people, he talked about Umar, then he went to the Abbasids, and then he went to Almohads. This is what they do. If I start doing that about Israel for the last 70 years, Joseph, your hair will become white. You'll become an old man.
I think
because the list,
my hair will become white.
Yeah, they're already white. Okay, the list of Israel's atrocities against Palestinians are so long that if I start naming every single person who was killed, okay, we won't finish today, right? Okay, how many people have Israel killed in the last 70 years? Do you know?
Can you finish?
Do you know?
Baha'is have been killed for 200 years, slaughtered by the Muslims, slaughtered by the fanatical Shias. Let me ask you a question.
Are you going to argue for him?
No.
I would like to.
Ask you one question.
If you want to open another debate on the Baha'is, come forward.
Okay.
I'm happy. I'm happy to engage with you.
Baha'i in a minute.
Okay, we'll come to Baha'is. We'll come to Baha'is and anyone else in the list. Anyone else in the list? We'll come to them. No problem. You see, all of these things, this propaganda. When I challenge you, when you come and stand next to me, you will see you have no legs to stand on.
So
continue.
You finished? Okay. So what's really, really rich is Adnan accused me of machine gun tactics. I literally responded to points he'd made. So he said Muslims had protected Jews. So I gave examples of how they hadn't. He said, like, literally, everything you accused me of, you're guilty of. You went all over.
I'm going to have to get to my phone now.
Maimonides, Igeret Tayman, Almohad, Abbas. Literally, we went all over the shop. all over the houses.
Now you're in for it, Joseph.
And so what I wanted to
Now you've done it.
So just for people's
Now you've
reference, he raised Maimonides, and we've had the reason I laughed at when he
Now
raised
you've done it.
Maimonides. The reason I laughed at why he mentioned Maimonides, he gave Maimonides as an example of somebody who experienced the benevolence of the Ummah, of the Muslims, who experienced the kindness and the protection of the Muslims. When Maimonides is speaking to his own people in the Igeret Teman, in a letter to the Yemenite Jews, the Jews of Yemen, he explicitly states that no people have persecuted us as much as this nation. No people. He also said that I misrepresented history, and that when Jews fled Muslims in Spain, that they fled to other Muslims. I explicitly stated when Jews had no state of their own, when they were persecuted, they had to flee to Christian or Muslim states. It's all on camera. Now, when they... No, you can't. You can wait your turn, sir, and then I can talk to you. But I'm talking to Mr. Rashid at the moment. I know, but no one interrupted here, except my brother here. Now I've lost my chain of thought. Thank you. And that's why we don't interrupt. I've completely lost my chain of thought. So I'll bring it back. The reason why it's important to focus on today and the history is that historically, when Jews were persecuted, we would flee to a land, and for a few decades, a few centuries, it might be okay. But then the persecution would increase.
I didn't want to miss it again.
Jews were slaughtered. Another anti-Semite behind me.
It's good, yeah. Just whip it out, yeah.
Which one?
Are you finished?
No, continue. Sorry, continue. I apologize. That's very impolite of me. Sorry.
And so, historically, Jews had nowhere to flee. We had no state. So when the Almohad slaughtered us, some of them fled to Northern Europe. Some of them fled into Fustat, Egypt, into North Africa, the parts that weren't occupied by the Almohads, Iraq. So the Jews fled all over, but there was no Jewish state. So they couldn't flee to other Jews. They either fled to Christians or the Muslims, who had laws which discriminated them. What Adnan does not talk about is the condition of those Jews that lived in there. He focuses on the Jews that achieved positions of power, the court Jews, who were very well documented. And the ulema were outraged that these Jews held positions of influence, and they regularly went up against the different caliphs and rebuked them and scolded them for having Jews in positions of authority. But the reason the Jews were in those authorities is exactly for the reason Adnan said. They were skilled in medicine. They were skilled in collecting taxes because they'd done it for the Christians, they'd done it for the Muslims, and they had built up over many years a skill set which benefited these caliphs. It wasn't benevolent for these Jews. Meanwhile, the majority of Jews who lived under these people were persecuted. Do you know that if your synagogue fell into disrepair, you weren't allowed to rebuild it? A Jew was not allowed to rebuild a synagogue if it fell into disrepair in almost every caliphate that stood. Adnan is giving you the absolute perfect example of existence of Jews and Muslims. The reality is the opposite. If you want to know how Jews lived under Islam, you don't listen to Adnan, you listen to the Jews who lived in those times. So if you go to the Cairo Geniza is the most perfect record of what it was like to live as a Jew in these times.
Okay.
Effectively, every letter, every book, anything that was written was preserved and put in this archive. And it was found in the 19th century, opened up, and we can read from Jews what it was like to live under Islam. And they don't paint the same picture as Adnan. They talk about the persecution, the taxes being so high.
Too many topics, Joseph, too many topics.
Okay,
too many topics.
Israel and ISIS.
Okay, no.
Have you noticed, the minute I start talking, the minute I start defending my case, he tries to shut it down. I'm saying that Jews were persecuted under Islam. He's saying they're not. When I give evidence of this, he says too many topics.
Okay, to be fair, because Joseph is by... Well, sorry, ma'am, you were not speaking when he was talking. Ma'am, you were not speaking when he was talking. I know you are upset.
There's a Jewish lady from a Muslim country who's upset, and he's shutting her down.
Okay, Wait.
We can speak to each
Can I
other.
speak? Can I speak? Can I speak? Can I speak? Yes, thank you.
Talking about occupation.
Can I speak?
We didn't occupy.
Can I
anything.
respond to his points?
Anything we didn't occupy.
Okay.
We just done how since when Jerusalem was a capital to
Okay.
any Muslim state except the Jewish.
Can I respond
what
to his
you-
points?
what you
Can I
can't
respond?
say-
No, you're not. You're not.
I just
I was
wanna-
telling hecklers to go quiet.
Okay.
So you be fair and tell the lady to be quiet so that I can respond to your points.
She will be quiet.
Okay.
2 minutes, then we'll bring you on camera because you're much better than I am.
Okay.
Just for the record, for everyone who's watching who doesn't know this lady is, this lady was born in a Muslim country.
Which country?
I don't know if you'd like me to say. She speaks perfect Arabic.
Why not? She's in the UK now. She's in.
Yeah, she fled persecution in Islam. from
When?
Islam.
When?
You
When?
speak
When?
there, speak
When?
there, speak there.
I want to know. I want to know. If
I
you
do-
want to discuss this lady specifically, we can bring her over, start discussing her, and then then we will see why her family had to flee a Muslim country and when. What happened? What happened? What happened? Okay.
When you
Can I respond? Can you tell the lady to be silent so that I can respond to your points? Do you want me to respond?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So can you ask her to be silent? Like I was telling the Muslims to be quiet.
Okay, I'll finish my point. And
Okay.
Then we get on to yours.
So no, you're not gonna make any more points because I need to respond to everything you said. Okay. Maimonides. He mentioned Maimonides. Firstly, a lot of the Jewish migrants to Israel, for the last 70 years, they have been brainwashed systematically by the state into hating Islam, Muslims, and the Muslim civilization. You know, if you go to the just like the Shia people, from a very young age, they are conditioned to hate the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, there are many examples I can give. Okay, when you condition children from a very young age, it's very difficult to get them to realize otherwise. Okay, my job here is, as hard as it is to clarify what the reality is. Joseph, people like him, I have no respect for him, even though I treat him respectfully. But I'm making it very
that's
clear.
not very respectful.
No, because I believe he's actually. Wait, brother, I'm not attacking him, am I? I'm not attacking him. Okay. I don't respect propagandists and liars and disingenuous people. I don't like disingenuous people. I don't like disingenuous people. So let me clarify. Now you're attacking me from the sides. Don't do that. Okay. So Maimonides, Joseph, what? Are you worried about what I'm going to say? Then be silent, please. Respectfully, please be silent. Okay. Okay. Maimonides. Joseph started with Maimonides. He wrote a letter to the Yemeni Jews. Okay. No.
It's not me. You brought him up.
Then you
And I responded.
and then you responded with more. Then you responded with more partial history. And that's why I have to expose you that when you tell history, you and your Zionist brothers, when they tell history partially. Okay? Some have now realized that the world is not sleeping anymore. There are scholars who will expose us. And now they are coming out slowly. They're Zionist scholars and they are speaking the truth. Bernard Lewis, for example, Zionist, died over 90 years old. Considered to be, please.
Primary sources.
Okay, so why is this happening, Joseph, when I'm speaking? When I'm speaking, why is this happening? You were very upset. When Muslims are heckling you, you were very upset. Yes. So now, just as you expected me to speak to the Muslims, speak to the lady. Okay, so Maimonides was a Jewish rabbi of the topmost status in the Jewish people, among the Jewish people in Spain. And then he migrated to Egypt. He grew up in Egypt. He grew older in Egypt, right? He became the private physician to Sultan. So what happens now this is the full story. What happens? The Jewish people of Yemen write a letter to him. About what? That we are about to become Muslims. Are you listening, everyone? Is everyone listening? This is the context with which my friend probably doesn't know. And if he knows, then he didn't tell you. And ask him why he didn't tell you this. Just like the Almohads. He told you the Jewish people were driven out, didn't tell you where they went. And when I told you where they went and gave you an example, he attacked that example and he said, I mentioned it. And then when he attacked the example, even then he gave you partial history. He said, Maimonides in a letter painted a very grim picture of his experience under Islam. And he's right. Guess what? He's right. This is why I said earlier, I said Maimonides was a liar of top class. For example, let me give you an example. Maimonides, who is he? Who is he? He is, no, Musa bin Maimun, but who is he serving?
We're going round.
Who is he serving? Who is he serving? Wait. Who is he serving in Egypt? Sorry? He is the private physician of the Sultan.
That's not true.
Wait. He was the private physician of the Sultan. His private doctor. Now, a private doctor for the Sultan, do you think is that a low position or it's a high position in the state? High or low? High or low? Private physician to the Sultan. You have the ear of the Sultan. You can tell him what you want. You can get him to do what you want, right? Now, Maimonides, when he receives a letter from Yemeni Jews, what are they asking him? Because he's an authority among the Jewish people. They ask him, we are considering converting to Islam. The Jewish community of Yemen. Why? Because these prophecies in the Old Testament, they list them down. Deuteronomy 18:18. Deuteronomy 33:2. Okay? Then other prophecies in the Old Testament, a list. They present this list to Maimonides and they ask him, oh Rabbi, what is our response to the Muslims on these prophecies? Because they are claiming that Muhammad, their prophet, the Arabian prophet, is foretold in these passages. And we are on the verge of converting to Islam. And some of them are learned Jews in Yemen. So they write to the most learned man in the Jewish world, Maimonides. So what does Maimonides do? In response, now he's a Jewish rabbi, he's the shepherd of the flock. What do you think he's going to do in the letter? Is he going to tell them, go ahead, very well done, go and convert to Islam? Or is he going to dissuade them? Which one is it? Which one is it? If some Muslims come to me, my example, person, I'm no Maimonides, no Imam, no scholar. If they come to me, 10 Muslims here, and they say, you know what, we're having doubts. We want to convert to Christianity. They have shown us how true Christianity is, for example. What am I going to do? As a Muslim da'i, as a Muslim propagandist, let's say, if he wants to call me that, okay? I'll do it for him, right? What do you expect me to do? Tell them, well done, go ahead, baptize yourselves and become Christians. Or I'm going to dissuade them. I'm going to dissuade them. Maimonides, to dissuade this Jewish community of Yemen, he tells them, all lies. We suffered under these people. They are the worst people in the world. And when is he writing this? While he is the private physician to the Sultan. He's a private doctor to the Sultan, he's writing this. And then he responds to these passages. All complete spins. Just a quick question, and you don't need to go further. Have you read the letter in detail? All of it. All of it. Have you read his responses to the passages of the Old Testament? Yes?
I've read the letter, yes.
So he knows about the letter. And he knows why it was written. It was written to dissuade the Jewish community of Yemen from Islam. And for that reason, he did a good job. But he was a liar. He lied to his people. He misrepresented the situation. Now to Cairo Geniza. The Cairo Geniza record. Amazingly, Joseph, I'm sure he doesn't know who studied it. He doesn't know. He mentioned it.
Schechter's the main.
Who?
Schechter. Rabbi Schechter is the main guy.
No. Academically, who published?
Yes, it's Schechter.
S.D. Goiten.
Yes, Goiten's another guy.
No. Goiten is the one who published them from the University of Pennsylvania, right? Okay, I have the entire set in my private library. Before you know, okay, wait. Have you been seeing?
There's literally thousands and thousands of fragments, and to this day they're still being translated. So when he tells you he's got the set, there is no set. He's lying.
Okay, are you done?
Yes.
Which set am I talking about?
I don't. You said you've got the entire set of Cairo Geniza.
Now, he doesn't know what set I'm talking about, and he's calling me a liar. So this is what you call a liar, okay? When you don't know what you're doing, and then you start accusing. What set am I talking about?
You tell me. You said
I just mentioned. You don't know. That's what I just mentioned the name. S.D. Goitin. Do you know the name?
Yes.
Okay. So do you know what set I'm talking about now?
So
Do you know what set I'm talking?
tell me.
So you don't know. Say I don't know.
Tell me.
Okay. So don't mention things you haven't
don't
even
know.
looked. Okay, wait.
I don't know what you're talking about. So,
Exactly. That's my point. You don't know what you're talking about.
Tell me the
You don't know what you're talking about.
Tell me the set.
Okay. You would know what I'm talking about if you knew what I'm talking about.
Tell me.
Because you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay? So by that virtue, Joseph, he likes to throw things, thinking Muslims, these ignorant Jahil Muslims, they don't know their history, right? S.D. Goitin is a Zionist scholar who studied the Cairo Geniza records found in Cairo, in Egypt, okay? And he did a commentary, a partial commentary, and he published 6 volumes, if I'm not mistaken, in yellow bindings. I have them at home in my personal library, okay? So Joseph doesn't know what he's talking about. And firstly, why would we accept the study of a Zionist scholar on a record which was found in a Muslim country and it hasn't been studied by other academics to date? Why would we? Why, if an ISIS scholar comes to me, Abu Bakr Baghdadi, let's say, he sanctions a study, he patronizes a study, go and study a record, and these ISIS people publish this record with flashy volumes, flashy titles. Am I to believe that? No, no. To us, anything these Zionists.
Interpretation.
No,
Adnan,
no. Well, okay. Now. So the point is, ladies and gentlemen, he mentions exceptions from the Muslim land. I am going to now, he said, do you remember what he said? That speak to the Jewish people who lived under Islam. Yes? Yes? Did he say that?
Yes.
Yeah? To know the persecution. Yes? I am going to now quote some Jewish people who lived under Islam. Rabbis.
And then
Okay, wait.
Listen, you have a Jewish, they are living in Morocco, my friend. There is
No, wait. I have some crazy stuff.
living like,
He hasn't been talking about
come on, man.
While he's looking this up,
No, I'm not looking this up. I'm reading it right now. I am reading it right now.
so
Wait. My time.
I mean, you have spoken
My
for a long
time.
Adnan, like literally, I had a full head of hair before.
In 1420, Rabbi Yitzhak Sarfati wrote a letter to his persecuted German brothers from the Ottoman Turkish territory. Listen now.
I've never heard of him.
He's a rabbi. Go and check.
Yeah.
No. I'm quoting him.
He's not a major figure.
Wait.
Is he a fringe figure?
He's a rabbi.
He's a random person.
He's a rabbi. Okay, he's a rabbi. I know it's gonna hurt you. It's antiseptic. You know what antiseptic is? Antiseptic.
Okay, finish what
Okay. What you're gonna hear now is going to shock you, not him, because he knows a lot of this stuff. That's why I call him Fox News, NBC, CNN put together. Okay. Rabbi writes to his brothers in Germany who are being persecuted by German authorities, Jewish people, in 1420. He writes, inviting them to join him in prosperous and tolerant Islamic lands. What is it? And I quote, this is what Rabbi wrote. Your cries and laments have reached us. We have been told of all the sorrows and persecutions which you suffer in German lands. Listen, my brothers. If you knew even the 10th of what God has blessed us with in this land, you would give heed to no further difficulties. You would embark at once to us. Here the Jew is not compelled. Here the Jew, you don't like it, do you? You don't like it. Do you want to hear it? This is one of your rabbis talking. Yeah. Wait. I'm gonna finish this. Here the Jew is not compelled to wear a yellow hat. You remember yellow clothes and yellow hat? So Joseph, that's why, hence NBC, Fox, CNN put together, right? Either he doesn't know this stuff, and if he knows this stuff, then he's an outclass liar. Okay, here the Jew is not compelled to wear a yellow hat as a badge of shame. You will be free of your enemies. Here you will find peace. Rabbi, Yitzhak. Okay, move on. Move on. Oh no, 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 no. No, 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 no. He, brother, do you not like, do you not like, do you not like, okay. Do you, no, 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 wait. I haven't finished. I'm not finished. I'm not finished. I'm not finished. I'm not finished. I am not finished. The point is, Joseph, I would have read it. Joseph, I have not finished. Look at this. 3 people attacking me. This lady, this gentleman, and Joseph. They're not allowing me to speak. They will not. They don't like this information. The problem is in the information. It's not what I'm saying. The problem is in the info. Is because this guy is being exposed. They don't like that. Okay, let me finish. Let me finish. Have the courtesy. Allow me my freedom of speech. Allow me my freedom of speech. Okay. The Italian rabbi, Obadiah Yare.
Who are you even quoting now?
To bring the.
Who are you quoting?
Okay. Can I finish?
Tell us who you're quoting.
Okay. I quoted sources in a previous debate with Joseph. I quoted sources in a previous debate with Joseph, and Joseph challenged me on Twitter. Joseph went on a victory parade on Twitter, and he said, Adnan Rashid is quoting sources that don't exist. And he's claiming things that don't exist. So he's a liar on Twitter.
Really?
Okay? So what happens? He triggers Adnan Rashid, which is myself. So I go on my Twitter, I take all those quotes, and I start posting them. Joseph goes dumbstruck, completely silent, gone. And then when he comes back, he comes up with such lame things that people are actually laughing at him. What the hell is wrong with you people? Why can't you see black and white and admit it? If someone shows you the sun, why can't? So now I'm going to do the same thing today. Joseph is trying to discredit these sources. I'm quoting rabbis, learned Jewish men living in these lands. So Italian rabbi Obadiah Yare da Bertinoro traveled to Jerusalem in 1486. Wrote a letter to his father telling him about the country and his people. A rabbi traveling through Jerusalem in the 15th century when it's being ruled by who? The Muslims, right? The Jews are not persecuted by the Arabs in these parts. I'm quoting. I have traveled through the country in its length and breadth, and none of them has put an obstacle in my way. They are very kind to me. Wait.
I know.
They are very kind to... What's your problem? What's your problem? Why should? Why? I am not debating you. I am not debating you. I'm debating him. Can you tell it?
You're debating yourself, Adnan. You've spoken for an hour. Literally.
No.
You've literally spoken for 20 minutes.
Okay, I'm finishing. Listen. What am I doing here?
You're trying to bore it. Literally half the audience.
Why are you so triggered? Why are you so triggered? Why are you so triggered? I'm not debating you, am I? Why do I have to respond to you? You're from the crowd. I'm not debating the crowd. I cannot debate all these people. I am only talking to one person. That's why I request from you that if you want to talk to me, you will definitely be given a chance. We'll talk to you. So let me finish my point, please. Please, because you're actually. Why are you suppressing my voice? Why do you not want me to speak? Why is it so painful?
This is painful.
No, this is painful. She's taking all your time. I'm not going to stop.
You're taking my time, not her, mate.
Can you stop? When you were being heckled.
Adnan, literally, I made one.
Ladies and gentlemen, when Joseph was being heckled, he had a problem with it. He came straight to me. Oh, now I start speaking and these Muslims are heckling me. I told those Muslims to stop. You are all witnesses. Joseph, for some reason, is not talking to the lady. Can you tell her to be quiet? She's jeopardizing the debate.
Please be quiet.
Let him finish.
And then we'll bring it back to Israel today, which is what she's asking for.
Yeah.
So I'm going to respond to you just for the benefit of the camera. He's bringing
all of
his
this.
Sources. I'm going to bring my sources, and then we're going to go back to what the debate's supposed to be about, which is Israel.
Okay.
Every time he goes to the same talking point.
Okay.
We've literally had this debate
what am I doing this? Why am I doing this?
You've got the same talking points. You've got.
Can you tell her to be quiet? Can you tell the lady to be quiet?
She has been quiet.
Okay. I will not speak until she goes quiet. I will not speak until she's quiet.
Talking.
Now she's talking.
But she's talking to someone else.
No, I can't do this.
I can't stop someone talking to someone else.
No, you were asking me to do it to Muslims.
No, he was talking to
No,
me.
you were asking me to do it to Muslims.
Someone was
Okay, and when a Jewish lady is screaming at me, you cannot stop her.
Fight on screen.
Okay.
Slightly different with someone talking to someone else. Over
Zionists cannot suppress our voices.
Literally, Adnan, no one is suppressing your voice. You haven't shut up, mate.
Okay. So now, coming back to why am I reading these quotes? Who is going to tell me why am I reading these quotes? Because Joseph himself, during his time, said, let's go to the Jewish people and talk to them. Ask them how they lived under Islam and what they felt about it. I'm responding directly to one of the points he raised, which is a fair point. So here a Jewish rabbi saying that they are very kind to strangers. Particularly, brother, take the lady away. Take the lady away, please, and talk to brother. I'm trying to read. Sorry. This lady she's been trying to disrupt the debate for a long time. So don't speak. Don't engage with her, please. Don't engage with her. The way they are very kind to strangers, particularly to anyone who does not know the language. And if they see many Jews together, they are not annoyed by it. In my opinion, an intelligent man versed in political science might easily raise himself to be a chief of the Jews as well as of the Arabs among them. Okay, doesn't stop there. No, one more.
Literally, Adnan,
One more.
I haven't spoke for
one more.
half an hour, mate.
One more. So wait. One
Are
more.
we debating
No,
or are you talking to yourself?
Just finishing right now.
One more quote.
Okay. By who? The Muslims, right? The Jews are not persecuted by the Arabs in these parts. I'm quoting. I have traveled through the country in its length and breadth, and none of them has put an obstacle in my way. They are very kind to me. Wait.
I know.
They are very kind to... What's your problem? Why should? Why? I'm not debating you. I'm not debating you. I'm debating him. Can you tell it?
You're debating yourself, Adnan. You've spoken for an hour. Literally.
No.
You've literally spoken for 20 minutes.
Okay, I'm finishing. Listen. Why am I doing it?
You're trying to bore it. Literally half the audience.
Why are you so triggered? Why are you so triggered? I'm not debating you, am I? Why do I have to respond to you? You're from the crowd. I'm not debating the crowd. I cannot debate all these people. I am only talking to one person. That's why I request from you that if you want to talk to me, you will definitely be given a chance. We'll talk to you. So let me finish my point, please. Because you're actually. Why are you suppressing my voice? Why do you not want me to speak? Why is it so painful?
Mate, this is painful.
No, this is painful. She's taking all your time. I'm not going to stop.
You're taking my time, not her, mate.
Can you stop? When you were being heckled.
Adnan, literally, I made one.
Ladies and gentlemen, when Joseph was being heckled, he had a problem with it. He came straight to me. Oh, now I start speaking and these Muslims are heckling me. I told those Muslims to stop. You are all witnesses. Joseph, for some reason, is not talking to the lady. Can you tell her to be quiet? She's jeopardizing the debate.
Please be quiet.
Let him finish.
Let him finish, and then we'll bring it back to Israel today, which is what she's asking for.
Yeah.
So I'm going to respond to you just for the benefit of the camera. He's bringing
all of
his
this
sources. I'm going to bring my sources, and then we're going to go back to what the debate's supposed to be about, which is Israel.
Okay.
Every time he goes to the same talking point.
Okay.
We've literally had this debate
what am I doing this? Why am I doing this?
You've got the same talking points. You've got.
Can you tell her to be quiet? Can you tell the lady to be quiet?
Being quiet.
Okay. I will not speak until she goes quiet. I will not speak until she's quiet.
Talking.
No, she's talking.
But she's talking to someone else.
No, I can't do this.
I can't stop someone talking to someone else.
No, you were asking me to do it to Muslims.
No, he was talking to me.
You were asking me to do it to Muslims. Okay, and when a Jewish lady is screaming at me, you cannot stop her.
Fight on screen.
Okay.
Slightly different with someone talking to someone else.
Zionists cannot suppress our voices.
Literally, Adnan, no one is suppressing your voice. You haven't shut up, mate.
Okay. So now, coming back to why am I reading these quotes? Who is going to tell me why am I reading these quotes? Because Joseph himself, during his time, said, let's go to the Jewish people and talk to them. Ask them how they lived under Islam and what they felt about it. I'm responding directly to one of the points he raised, which is a fair point. So here a Jewish rabbi saying that they are very kind to strangers. particularly, brother, take the lady away. Take the lady away, please, and talk to brother. I'm trying to read. Sorry. This lady she's been trying to disrupt the debate for a long time. So don't speak. Don't engage with her, please. Don't engage with her. The way they are very kind to strangers, particularly to anyone who does not know the language. And if they see many Jews together, they are not annoyed by it. In my opinion, an intelligent man versed in political science might easily raise himself to be a chief of the Jews as well as of the Arabs among them. Okay, doesn't stop there. No, one more.
Literally, Adnan,
One more.
I haven't spoke for
One
half an hour, mate.
One more. So, wait, one more.
Are we debating or are you talking to yourself?
Just finishing right now.
One more quote.
Okay.